Hi, I'm Julia Strauss. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Kitchener-Waterloo. I've been going to school in Thunder Bay for the past 3 years at Lakehead University. I'm taking the outdoor education program and loving it. It's a program about being in the outdoors and being able to teach in the outdoors, and that's exactly who I am. I love to fish and I love just relaxing by the water and canoeing, kayaking. I've grown up playing baseball, and so pretty much every season there's a sport or an outdoor activity to go along with it. I have other passions, and I love to bake and I love cooking. I really enjoy living a healthy lifestyle, and I enjoy reading and writing, and I've always kept a journal. And my dream has always been, and I hope to complete it, is to write a novel and have it being published one day. And I'm also Fabry's patient.
Fabry's disease has been a big part of my life since I was very young. I met John when I was 12 years old in grade 7, and we were married when I was 18. And John was diagnosed with Fabry's disease when he was 17 years old. His mother actually passed away we found out after the fact, of Fabry's disease as well. John struggled for a big part of his life, an early part of our marriage, with a lot of pains in his hands and feet. And we had gone from doctor to doctor and really struggled with figuring out what was going on with him. He said there's got to be somebody doing something for Fabry's disease. So we went to our family physician, who got us in touch with a genetics specialist in New York. And this doctor got the ball rolling for us and told us that there is now enzyme replacement therapy in the beginning stages, and he wanted to do a lot of tests and so on John. John went through a lot of testing, and he was willing to be a guinea pig for other patients going through the same struggles. Life was going very well for John and I, and we had 2 beautiful children, our son Lee and Julia. And we carried on with our life like any normal couple would do. When the children were young, John continued to struggle with Fabry's disease. He had many ups and downs, and a lot of doctors really just ignored it. In 1984, John had a kidney transplant. He was given a kidney from his brother, and he improved dramatically, and he had a positive attitude. He bought a business. He then bought a second business. He was driven and motivated. He just really worked hard for his family, and life was great. When Julia was 15 years old, I can remember very distinctly. It was a Sunday morning around 5 in the morning. She had had the flu, and she came into our room and woke us up, and she said, "I have really bad pain in my hands and feet." And I don't think I ever woke up so quickly in my life. I knew exactly what she was saying to me, and what she was saying to me was, she's got Fabry's disease. As a mom, you just feel sick knowing the struggles that her dad had gone through. And John, he went through a lot of guilt feelings, thinking that he had passed this on to his daughter. It was a moment I can't forget. In 2003, John was so excited because he finally got access to enzyme replacement therapy. At that point, they had done a story about us in our local newspaper, and he said he really looks forward to seeing his children get married and being a grandfather. So John was truly excited that enzyme replacement therapy was something he had thought of for a long time and was now available to him. And unfortunately, on May the 10th, 2004, John lost his struggle with Fabry's disease, and he died of a heart attack at work.
My initial reaction to finding out I have Fabry's, I was scared. I was really scared. I grew up with watching my dad struggle with it, and it was hard to see him have a stroke and a kidney transplant, and then knowing that one day I might face those same struggles. But at the same point, I was comfortable knowing that I had my family who knows about it, and I didn't feel alone. I'm part of the board of directors for the Canadian Fabry's Association, and I think that has been very beneficial because I've been able to go to conferences and learn on a first-hand basis from doctors, and hearing what's going on medically inside has helped me learn how to cope with it better. And I think knowledge is power, and being able to educate myself has been very beneficial. I think it's been a great experience to be part of a support group, and that helps a lot. It's helped me with patient meetings. When I attend those, it's a great chance to see other people and hear their stories, and in turn share my own stories, and for me to hear what they've been through has been very healing. How I cope with Fabry's is I still do everything I love doing. I love fishing and hiking. I love snowmobiling and just pretty much living in the outdoors. I would be there every day if I could. And I think it's important to hold on to those dreams that you've always had and the ambitions, and keep doing those things. You just have a little bit more on your plate now, and you have limitations, and you have to be careful with that. But I think what anybody should hang on to most is keep doing the things you love to do and never give those up. How I live well with Fabry is by trying to live a balanced lifestyle, and that includes both emotionally and personally and physically. I try to still keep active, and that helps me manage stress, as well as eating healthy and a balanced diet, and I think overall just having a positive attitude and outlook on life.
How do I see Julia living well with Fabry's disease? I see her every single day doing exactly that. I want Fabry's disease to be a small part of Julia's life, not a big part. As every mother wants for her daughter, I want Julia to finish her education, fall in love, get married, have children, and live a happy life. And I know whatever Julia's dreams are, she will achieve them.
The support that I've been given from both my parents has helped me along the way. I think from my father, it was comforting to have someone with me who was knowing what I was going through, and someone to understand the symptoms and the emotional feelings and the loneliness. And for my mom, she has helped me with the love and support, and I think most importantly, her patience. And that means a lot when you're going through something that nobody else understands. If you're newly diagnosed, I think the most important thing is to just keep reading and finding out more information. For example, there's a lot of websites that have information. One is the Canadian Fabry's Association. It teaches you about how to live with a disorder emotionally and personally, how your family can be affected, and just reading that helps you know that you're not alone and teaches you to have understanding of what you're going through. That can also take some of the fear away. It's also really important to share your own story, and although it can be super scary, I think it's very important to do so. To find the strength to be able to tell someone what you're going through and what you're coping with can really put the pieces together for you. Sharing your story will allow you to express how you really feel and put that in perspective. And letting other people tell you theirs can help you as well, because it brings both of them together and makes sense in your own mind. To me, being brave means to have the courage to control the parts of your life that you can. It means to fight instead of giving up. I think being brave is driven by fear, and that's something that we all feel at one point in our life. And I think being brave is something you have to work for and find the courage within yourself. I think if there was a point in my life where I had to be brave, it was after my father passed away. I think that was where the first time in my life I felt scared of having Fabry's. Simple things like even going for an MRI or getting my blood taken scared me a little bit more than it usually would, and still today that's when I need to learn how to be brave.
After John passed away and Julia was faced with Fabry's disease without her father in her life, we felt very empty. We felt a big hole in our heart. But John was always such an inspiration to all of us. And so Julia has faced everything head on, and I know she's doing it exactly the way her dad did. And I know that he's been a huge inspiration to her. And I know also that John and I are both extremely proud of Julia and the way she is dealing with Fabry's disease on an everyday basis. If John were here today, first and foremost, I know he'd be extremely proud with our advocacy work that we've done for other patients with Fabry's disease, and the fact that we as a family have stepped up. My son has also been very involved, and John lives such a positive life, and he would be extremely happy with seeing the way Julia is dealing with her disease.
My dad was the strongest man I've ever met. He lived each day to the fullest and really gave everything he could to this world. He was strong and he was brave, and although he struggled every day and had worries and fears of his own, he never surrendered, and he really fought Fabry's and never let it get to him. He was definitely a fighter, and I hope that if I one day have those same struggles, that I can fight back as he did. If I could leave Fabry's patients and their families with one message, it would be to get the support you need and ask questions and learn about the disease and understand it. To have hope and strength and the courage to fight it. And it's going to be a long journey, and I think the most important part of that is to always remember who you are and who you were before you had this, because you're still the same person. Fabry's is just a small piece of that.